going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I want to dive into some winners and some losers from the Vikings-Titans Week 3 matchup. Preseason football is finally done. Coolest note from tonight's game, Josh Metellus called a second-half series for the defense. Absolutely love that. Shout out to the coaches for letting Metellus have that shine. But everybody, preseason's over. Regular season football starts right now, and I cannot wait. I already got my eyes on week 1 against the Chicago Bears, and we will keep you guys posted with everything you need to know. Cut down day coming this Tuesday, injury news, trade rumors with Adam Thielen. It's going to be a hectic time for this Vikings team, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button today. Stay up to date on everything around the Minnesota Vikings. I even think they can make a move for a cornerback, and we'll talk about that a little bit on today's show. But if you guys want to stay on top of it all, hit that subscribe button today. Now, the biggest winner by far for me, Max Brosmer. Brosmer had an unreal game today, and his stats obviously look good, but they should have looked better. Brosmer on a 4th and 4 had a beautiful deep ball to Fleming, and Fleming just dropped it, or else the Vikings had a chance to tie that football game up if he would have completed that pass. But 15 to 23, 161 yards, 1 touchdown. I just think the thing is with Brosmer, you can clearly tell there's a difference between him and Ripen in terms of just processing the game. Like, the offense just runs so much more smoothly with Brosmer under center. And, he's got a hell of an arm. I think that's the number one thing out of this entire preseason is, like, my biggest takeaway with Brosmer was like, okay, that guy has a way bigger arm than I thought. I knew he's a smart quarterback. KOC was raving about it, but he had a couple of big-time throws today of him pushing the ball down the field, attacking the middle of the field. He really checks every box as a quarterback except for, like, the off-platform stuff. Like, when you do get him off his spot, he can get a little inaccurate at the football. But when this play is clean, it's on time. I mean, he is one of the most accurate backup quarterbacks there are in the league. So I think he should be QB2, even though I do think it's a little telling that Sam Howell didn't play tonight. I think when the depth chart is released, it will be J.J. McCarthy, Sam Howell, then Max Brosmer, and Brett Ripen. We'll talk about him on our loser side of today's show, but I don't need to see him in the purple and gold ever again. But number 2 for me, we're going to go Xavier Scott here. Now, he only got a couple series in the first quarter, but I saw the juice, man. This guy's really impressed me this entire preseason. He is just a physical running back. He falls forward so well. And even tonight, he had a couple runs. He's met in the backfield, make a guy miss, and even if it's just a 3-yard game, but it should have been a 2-yard loss. Like, I would love to see his rushing yards over expected from the preseason, but I like the tenacity he brings. He kind of brings a sort of swagger to the offense as well, where he's getting up, he's yelling at people, just a physical running back, and he's got a contagious feel about him. So Xavier Scott will probably be RB3 for this team behind Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones, and didn't see Ty Chandler today. I would be stunned if he is on the 53-man roster, but I think Xavier Scott this preseason, he went out there, he took Chandler's job, so all credit to him, man. Really just a fun running back to watch for this Vikings team, man. The guy who was making plays today as well, Jon Jones, wide receiver. Obviously, a lot of trade rumors around Adam Thielen floating the, interwebs right now. But there's still a need for another guy to step up in this wide receiver room. And at least Jon Jones today showed us something. He had 4 catches, going for 41 yards. So he looked pretty good there. And, you obviously got Jefferson ready to roll for week 1. But Jalen Nailor, that injury, I think there's a chance he starts on PUP, at least just the way, they're talking about it. So, you start filling out the rest of that wide receiver room. Like, let's just assume the Vikings do trade for Thielen. So it's, Jefferson, Ty Felton, Thielen, Nailor goes on PUP. I think Jon Jones, Tim Jones, Lucky Jackson, they probably all make the team. So, these guys, they had a chance to earn their spot on the roster. And I think Jon Jones did that tonight. So shout out to him. And then Levi Drake Rodriguez had a monster performance tonight. He was playing actually majority of this game. I was a little stunned by that. I think he is going to make the roster. I think it's going to come down to, him or Taki Taimani. But with the performance LDR had today, I think he gets the nod. He had a sweet sack in the second half of this game. Great usage of his hands. Got right around the offensive guard. Just completely swallowed up the quarterback. Also had a couple of nice plays in the run game as well, having a TFL, and he got 2 hits on the quarterback. So you'll take that, any day of the week. But Levi Drake Rodriguez probably end up making this team, which is awesome. 7th round pick last year's draft. The Vikings, they did a lot of research on this guy, and it's just cool watching him develop from like last preseason where he was so raw, but now we're starting to see him add a couple of moves in his game. So shout out to LDR there. And then I got to go with the guy who caught Brosmer's touchdown here, Bryson Nesbbit. He had a couple of pop plays today, mainly that touchdown. That little in-breaking slant route he had was fantastic stuff, completely cooked the corner. And then Brosmer, had a beautiful football, and then he was able to obviously do the rest and take it to the house. But, there's a huge question mark at the Vikings tight end 3 spot. Hawk and Oliver obviously be out there for week 1. Now, I also think there's a question if the Vikings do even keep 3 tight ends. I think they will, and I think Nesbitt is probably going to be the guy. Maybe it's Van Nett, maybe it's Bartholomew or Urisic, but you got 4 guys competing for 1 tight end spot. I'm guessing the Vikings will I'm guessing they'll probably keep 2. I would, at least if I had to call right now. That is very rare in the National Football League, but I think they'll probably keep 2. But if they do keep 3, I think Nesbitt kind of earned his spot on the roster tonight. But I'll ask you guys this. I want to hear your thoughts. Who is the biggest winner from week 3 of the preseason? I got to go Mad Max. I'll give credit to him. The Vikings are the most unserious preseason football team in the whole NFL. And, like, for example, Josh Metellus calling plays tonight defensively. They just kind of take this as, half-ass in the preseason, trying to get their 3rd and 4th stringers looks. But Max Brosmer made this somewhat entertaining, so I'll give him credit. He's my biggest winner, guy who impressed me the most by far throughout the whole preseason. Now we'll talk about some losers here in a second, but today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. And preseason football is underway and college football is here, so don't miss any of the action this season on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS and get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. It also offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. And they also have a free winner for you guys for week 1 of the football season. Thursday night, Cowboys taking on the Eagles, and 1 Dak Prescott passing yard will get you guys 1 free win on Prize Picks. So make sure you guys include this into all of your lineups leading up to that Thursday night game. And if you guys download the app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, we'll hook you guys up with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. I have that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But Prize Picks, run your game. All right, let's talk about some losers here. And honestly, I think there's a clear 3, at least from this game. And the first guy being, and so disappointed that we're even talking about this, but his play today was not good. Zamiah Vaughn. Van Jefferson took this dude's ankles on a massive 60-plus yard touchdown, and he was just getting beat consistently all night. And with him struggling like this, I am a little nervous about the cornerback room. Obviously I think the receiver position and the backup quarterback position has been getting most of the headlines lately, but that cornerback room is super thin, everybody. Like, you're banking on, 1, Byron Murphy being the same guy he was this past year, which I'm assuming he will, but still a question mark if he'll still remain, being that top 12 corner in the league. Isaiah Rodgers, that's a question mark at the cornerback too. And then corner 3, it's Jeff Okudah. How confident are we feeling in Jeff Okudah? Because they're 1 injury away. Like, what do you do if Byron Murphy gets hurt? Isaiah Rodgers is your cornerback 1, Jeff Okudah 2, and then you're going a UDFA or Mai Blackman at your corner 3. I know we're all talking about an Adam Thielen trade, and I don't know if there's any good corners out there on the trade market, but I could see this being an active week for Kwesi, and I wouldn't be shocked if they try to go get another corner, because I know it's like you don't want to always play that injury card, like, oh, what if he gets hurt? He gets hurt, but I think it's true with this cornerback room. Like, even if Isaiah Rodgers gets hurt, you're like, all right, Okudah's your corner 2. Like, you play the Bengals week 3. Is Okudah going to be sticking T. Higgins? I don't know. So I got my concerns there, but I'm definitely concerned about this fella. Brett Ripen, one of the worst performances in the second half. at the QB spot. He throws ducks. He has no zip on the football whatsoever. He's got terrible feet in the pocket. He's just a bad quarterback, and he will not be wearing a purple and gold jersey, I think, until next preseason. If that, I would like the Vikings to get a better practice squad quarterback because this guy, he has shown me absolutely nothing. 7 of 14, 62 yards, and just a terrible interception. He should have had 2 interceptions. They were both awful. But he was just sailing throws. You can't attack the middle of the field. You can't even hit his layups. He's not mobile. He doesn't do anything average. He does everything bad, and he's been bad this entire preseason. So he'll definitely get cut. No chance he makes a team. He'll probably stay on the P squad. But Brett Ripen, disappointing performance tonight. Now Mai Blackman, last loser. It's not like Mai had a terrible game. He just didn't really do much. And I think him being a loser on this week is more of a sum of the entire preseason, where Mai, even dating back to training camp, like we're hoping he's going to step up. We're hoping he's going to make a play. At least just show us something where it's like, yeah, I can be that cornerback 3 for this unit. But honestly, I think he probably ends up getting cut. But also, I think the Vikes are going to want to keep 6 corners now because of how thin they are, and they just maybe want to have more depth. But I don't know. I will say I am concerned about this cornerback group a little bit. So, and especially with Mai Blackman playing like that, Samaya Vaughn not playing too good. Dwight McLaughlin didn't really look too good either tonight. You're just banking on Jeff Okudah and Isaiah Rodgers taking massive leaps in their careers, and that's risky biz. And again, the injury bug's a real thing. So, I don't know. A little disappointed in the secondary tonight, unless we got 2 of those on the losers list. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just hit me with the SKOL down below in the comment section. Can't wait for week 1, and make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. See you guys next time. SKOL Vikes.